call this special meeting to order. We're here to discuss the proposed 2013 budget. Anybody have anything to say?
We didn't do roll call.
Oh, well,
Roll call.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
Dave Shower. Bertha Foster.
Frank Capel.
Okay, I gave you the budget narrative from Howard Gordon, and he's here now, so he can entertain any questions, or maybe I said,
Eddie.
You can stay right now.
oh, okay. We can get started with the questions anyway. Dave, Bertha?
I have a question. I read all the information. If we freeze the wages across the board and laid off one administrative support assistant and the consultant, we're supposed to be gone already, I understand, and hire an experienced part-time personnel person to get these grounds and things looking better, how would we stand on that?
You're talking maintenance?
Pardon?
You're talking the maintenance area?
Yeah, one part-time.
Like lay off
Experience.
administrative?
Yes.
We can't lay off administrative.
Why can't we?
We
We've
wouldn't
done
be
it
able to
before.
get the paperwork done.
This is the board's decision.
Yeah,
how
but you need
would
to
we-
understand that the paperwork is important
Excuse
for
me, I'm
subsidy.
talking to Howard Gordon. What would we stand?
Well, did you want to add a new maintenance person?
A part-time one, experienced.
How many hours a week?
They work 20 hours a week.
Well, you may
It would
be,
take up the slack from the administrative support person.
it depends, because if you hire somebody 20 hours a week, there's a couple of issues. Number one, you have to pay them the Department of Labor wage rate. You can't pay them a lower rate than that.
Yeah.
Which would be the same rate as the second guys, would be about $23 an hour
Instead of 15.
instead of 15 for the
But this
administrative
place
person.
keeps going downhill and downhill. It looks bad every year.
Oh, well, let me just continue on.
Uh-huh.
Plus, you'd have, from DHCD's perspective, you'd have too many maintenance personnel for the number of units that you have. I don't understand why you can't get it done with 2 full-time people.
Why? Because I went over the month's agendas, and we have an average of 4 to 7 apartments get vacant every month. And that's a lot for 2 people to get ready when they have to take care of everything else.
Yeah. I mean, it could work. I'm not sure it's a wise move from what I see in other housing authorities, but if that's, you may be able to make it work. You're talking about eliminating would you eliminate a 25-hour position or the 15-hour position in the administrative?
Whichever the director decides she doesn't need as much.
I need them both.
Well, Sandra
if
doesn't
you-
do the work that the other lady does.
If you eliminated the 15-hour a week person, to put in a maintenance person would cost you over double.
But we're getting a 6.5% increase.
Yeah, you get,
Right.
but that's in the bottom. That's in total expenses.
Yes, I
We
know.
have many other areas to address, such as health insurance and retirement. But the way this budget is structured to include every one of those expenses. Okay, if you took away the part-time administrative person that does not have employee benefits, and you added it with a part-time maintenance person, 20 hours a week, that requires benefits, it's mandatory that you pay them, okay? It's not only gonna cost you double for the salary, but then you're gonna be dealing with a $10,000 or $15,000 group insurance bill. You don't have enough money to do that.
Well, how are we gonna get this place looking better?
I don't know. I mean, are the men doing the most they can? Are they putting in their time, or are they loafing, or?
I don't think either one of them smoke, I don't know.
Well, I think that Sandra has a different job than Jeannie does.
I understand.
And she does all the work orders that the maintenance used to do. So we actually gave her additional work on top of the work that she has, and we took the work orders away from maintenance because they needed extra time in the field. So to eliminate that job would be eliminating the work orders or giving that to the men at $22 an hour instead of $15 an hour. It just doesn't make sense.
But we always got by with just one administrative support
40 hours.
before.
It was 40-hour position.
And now you have two part-time at 40 hours.
Right.
We need somebody for the grounds badly. It's so obvious. People come in here and
Is this really to be discussed
with-
tonight
yes,
in
because- yes, because we-
this budget?
Yes, because we're discussing wages.
I don't see how we could eliminate
And
admin.
Bertha's trying to switch one to the other, but I see you
Plus it
mean,
would
you're
be-
looking at,
Based on what DHCD allows you to spend in your total expenses, that's excluding utilities, just your operating expenses for administration, maintenance, all the benefits, et cetera, you can't afford that scenario. There's no way you can afford that scenario.
Can't afford what we're doing.
I just think that, what, how many years? 136, okay. It seems to me, based on what I see at other housing authorities, that the men should be able to get the work done.
Well, if we
you
didn't have
know,
so
it-
much turnover, it would be
Now, I
fine.
understand that. Well, how about contracting out
That costs money too.
for the, yeah, but you don't have to pay benefits. And where I enhanced the budget a little bit was in the contract cost line item. If you look at the budget itself on line 35, where it says contract costs, there's a small number there of the previous year, which was $10.82. That's how much it cost per unit per month. And the number to the right of that is $15.07. Well, I increased it over $4 per unit per month, and if you multiply that out in dollars, you're talking about $6,500 a year. I increased that line item. So if you needed to contract out some painters and cleaners and et cetera, to get the apartments turned over, you may have, you can take it out of that money without having to hire an employee.
Permanent one, or
Right.
just have it when you need them.
Right.
On that same item.
And that
It's
would
an
save
as-need
benefits, too.
basis. Now, obviously, as the winter comes about, they're gonna have snow, but other than the snow removal, there won't be any grounds to do, so hopefully they can spend more time in the apartment to get the maintenance men can get the apartments
See, if we
cleaned up.
didn't have such
What's
so
your
much of a
vacancies
bad
right now?
turnover, we'd probably be all set.
You need to fix that,
I
because
know.
what's gonna happen, DHCD has a new rule now, that if you have a vacancy more than 60 days, they're gonna take so much away from subsidy.
I
You're
read
gonna
that.
lose subsidy. So
Read
it's very important that you do get your apartment turnover better. But now that the summer's gone, you know, the grounds aren't gonna be such an issue.
Mm-mm.
So hopefully they can get back into the apartments and get the apartments up to snow. But I would try to spend as little money as possible, because you don't have any money. This
I
housing
know we
authority
don't.
on paper
It's bad.
is broke. And it's a very, very, very lean budget. DHCD enhanced it a little bit this year with 6.5%, but that's just to make up for previous years when we didn't get anything.
Yeah.
And it's barely enough.
Well, we got a 3% in 2011, didn't we?
I don't remember. It was, but it was only a piece of it. They allocated, they prorated it in a smaller amount. But years before that, we had a reduction. We had a reduction of almost 5 or 6%. And when we never really caught up to where we were 4 years ago. Okay.
We've gone the other way.
Yep, but now we're catching up a little bit with the 6.5%. But, you know, 2012 year, June 11th to June, July 2011 to June of 2012 was not a good year. We lost a lot of money, and the reason why we lost a lot of money, as we indicated in the narrative, is our group insurance went up and our retirement bill went up tremendously, and it just ate up all our money. And we basically don't have. We don't have any reserves to fall back on. So a couple of things have to happen. The maintenance department has to be very cognizant of the fact that they have to be lean. They have to only buy what they absolutely need. The same thing goes to the office. The office should buy only exactly what they need to keep the costs as low as possible. Other than that, you don't have control over very many other expenses.
Any other questions?
No, I just make a motion that we freeze all the wages instead of the increases.
We can't really freeze maintenance wages anyway. We can't make that decision.
But-
L&I, labor and industry wages have to be paid.
It's only a couple cents anyway,
No, it's not. It's like a couple of dollars an hour last year.
not this year.
Well, we don't know what it is this year yet. We won't know
Well,
until.
I'm just reading what you had here.
But we can't
for
freeze,
increases.
is what I'm trying to explain, is that we can't freeze their wages.
Yeah, well, I don't think we can afford wage increases. You want a
Well,
6.5%, and we're getting a 6.5%.
I mean, it almost seems like the money we're getting, we're eating up in wages and insurance.
Yep.
I mean, that's,
We can't change their wages.
Well, you, the executive director's wage we could.
So we would freeze mine and not maintenance?
Yes.
How is that fair? I haven't had a raise since '07.
Yes, you have. You got in 2009, you got $8,222
No,
increase in your wages with that 4-year contract. And in
Oh.
2011, you got a 3% increase. I went back in my
No, I
files
didn't.
and I have it.
no.
Yes, you did. The proof is right here.
Now, see, Bertha, that's the kind of thing you should have given me before so I could research it, but I would know if I got an $8,000 increase.
Just by your wages alone tells you you do.
No, I wouldn't. No. We didn't get it. We were allocated a 3% wage last year increase, and I didn't get it because we had
But you- your
overspent in
wages-
tree removal.
Oh,
Remember, we couldn't do the wage increases? That was, I don't know what the heck that's all.
it's your data of your
Well, that's the kind of
contract.
thing that you needed to give me before this meeting so we could make a decision today.
You should know what you get for wages.
I know I didn't get an $8,000 increase.
All right, but you got it.
Well, in any event,
Oh,
if maintenance
let me
gets it,
clarify that.
Pardon?
Let me clarify that.
It goes just by her wages
No,
No,
alone?
but let me clarify
Sure, I
that.
will.
The state governs how much an executive director can get paid, okay? DHCD amended their salary allowances for executive directors back in 2007 or 8 or whenever it was. All executive directors throughout the state got a large increase because of that,
Right there.
okay?
Mhm.
So that is why that went up, okay?
Yeah.
It's not because she was granted, if she didn't get that raise, she would be significantly underpaid as opposed to other executive directors with the same number of units.
Now, that's part-time, executive director too.
Well, right, exactly. That was based on the number of hours
Mhm.
that DHCD says the executive director should work for this size housing authority.
Mhm.
And that's why she got such a large incremental raise during that period of time.
but there was 4 years before that,
Right.
that there was none. And that was back in 2007.
That wasn't 2009, that was 2007 when
Yeah,
that happened.
2007, and then there was no wage increase in 2011. I don't know where that 824 comes from.
That's where you got your, well, that's how you got your 41,991.
There was no wage increase in 2011.
The figures show it there.
Well, the figures aren't right, because there was no wage increase.
I think
well,
you should check.
can we ask, can you check into that and let us
Check.
know and
Yeah.
see what?
Because that's the only way the wage goes up.
There
Actually,
wasn't,
she's right.
how can there be a wage increase?
In 2009, he was 41,168. In 2010, actually, and we're carrying 41. We're carrying.
How can that be?
I don't know how that happened.
I mean, the weekly wages haven't changed.
I
at
should have
all.
brought all those sheets, I have just what he has in front of me for the
Oh, wait,
dates.
whoa, I think I know the answer. Hold a second,
Okay, cool.
hold on a second. So, okay, let's see, 2011. Let's just go back into previous years. 2011. I think one of the years there was a proposed increase in the budget, but you never took it.
I didn't take it because we had overspent.
Right, here it is right here, okay. Going from 2010 to 2011, there was a proposed 2% increase, but she never
I
took
didn't
it.
take it because
But
we
we're
laid out.
carrying the same figure forward every year, even though she's not taking it.
Well, how come these wages went up?
Which ones are you talking about?
All of them, I just got, I went back, your sheet, you
I
have
have
it
it right
there,
here.
I
I
went
have
back
it right-
over my
What I'm
files.
saying to you is that in 2011, there was a proposed 2% increase from the 2010 rate.
Mhm.
Okay, that brought her from 41,168 to 41, what is it,
991.
991, okay? She never took the raise.
And she gets
Now,
that money though.
wait a minute,
Yeah,
okay? When we do the budget, we don't carry forward what she got paid, we carry forward what we budgeted, so you don't lose the money.
but her checks show that.
No,
No, they don't. I didn't take it.
Okay.
So does that money stay in the, in our budget instead of Diane getting it?
well, it's,
Then that should be extra in the budget. I
Yeah.
wasn't here then, so I
Yeah.
don't know. I
A lot of
I
people-
don't know,
it's
but I'm
just a surplus that you're carrying in that line item, because what was happening is, there was an inconsistency in the part-timers.
Yeah.
You know, if they worked more than their 25 or more than their, it made up for the difference.
Yeah, cause we carried, even, 2012 budget, I believe you still had part-time maintenance in there.
But
I'm
if-
not talking,
if-
maintenance and administration are totally
If
different.
Diane ever gets audited, or, I'm just saying this, wouldn't the federal government saying that's what she paid? I mean,
Not the federal government, the state government.
State.
The state, wouldn't
State
it?
government would look at what she got paid actual check as opposed to
To what
what's
she's
in the
supposed to-
budget.
Gross pay.
Okay, and they'll see that she actually received less than what was budgeted. You're comparing budget to budget rather than budget to actual, then you have to be careful, because sometimes when you do a budget, you don't like to reduce the salary that was proposed in the previous year, you like to keep the dollars in there,
Mhm.
just to have them. So that's the explanation of that whole scenario,
Thank you. I never could have figured that one out.
okay? I have history, I go back a
Just
long
know
time.
you didn't get it.
I just know I didn't get it. I know.
That usually shows that.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go there.
I just, on the budget, it's too bad we couldn't find some way to hire, somebody to help these guys out.
That would be great.
I mean, it's, I tell you, I've tried, and I still, on that volunteer help, I'm having somebody really look into it, because there's a way around it.
Well, I take volunteers wherever I can get them.
Yes, that's exactly what it is, if they volunteer.
Right.
But they have to be through a organization, like the Elks Club or
Well,
the
we take them from,
or the VFW or something.
we take people who need community service, like the schools, we get the kids to help with hallway cleaning and stuff like that. We get some people from, the tax incentive program in Georgetown, but there has to be someone that's qualified for maintenance work, so we do take
It's just too bad
volunteers.
we really couldn't, and so you get some people to come in and help these guys with, for the volunteers to do the easy stuff, the walls and stuff, and maybe you would move them around, get these apartments moving, because it's money out of our pocket.
Well,
I
they
know it
can-
isn't a lot, but it's still, it's some.
They've been stuck in, family housing for quite some time
Yeah.
now, and that was the problem, is that those units are so big.
And they're doing a
requires-
great job at
And
it.
they're done,
When they're done, they're doing a beautiful job.
right, but they're finished now, so now they're back here, so now these units are gonna move a lot faster. Plus, we had several deaths, one on top of another, and that gave us empty units.
Now, do they, if a unit is in decent shape, do they still have to do the whole unit?
In their opinion, I let Deke decide what he needs to do, although I have told him to, not do it as thoroughly as they used to do it, just do what they have to do to get by.
You know, just trying to, you know,
That's what I told him to do.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
Mm.
actually.
it's just that you know, they do a lot of work for two guys.
Yeah, and we used to change countertops and all that, we don't do that anymore. So it's not like we're spending the same money that we used to, because we don't have that same money.
So we could contract out some work then.
We got, what you said, $5,500?
I don't, yeah, but that contract work also goes towards, it goes towards the pumping station, which is $3,500 a month.
No,
That
pumping,
doesn't?
that's considered a utility cost.
Oh, okay, so it does go towards like, pest control, you never know when that's gonna come up and hit you, and it does happen.
But like he said, if we don't get these units taken and occupied, we're gonna be penalized too.
Right, but we just finished Jewett Street today, so now going forward, we're just gonna have,
So now
What's-
we have 6 more, I think we have 7, don't we?
no, I don't know, I'd have to go look, but,
Well, I think that's what it said.
what's it?
I want the last one I looked, last budget thing, agenda I looked at.
The last agenda said what?
I went over a month's agendas and I divided it, and we have an average of 4 to 7 apartments.
Not
vacant
new
a month.
ones, the same ones carry over.
I know, that's why I said it takes so long to do them.
Right.
That's not good.
But you have to figure, Bertha, they're, and I'm trying to do things to try to.
To
but
help,
they-
I know.
Oh, I know.
But they do have for 2 guys and doing the apartments up at Jewett Street.
That's a big,
Yeah, it's a big deal. I
Big
went in a
project.
couple of them that they're doing, and they're doing a great job, but, I mean, just the way this one person left this apartment, I couldn't believe it.
It's unusual for us to have this many in Jewett Street, but we had two residents buy houses, affordable homes. So that's why we had those, but that doesn't usually happen that way. Once people are living there, they're not gonna give up their units for much. So I don't expect to have any more of those coming up anytime soon.
But, you know, it's just too bad that like, maybe hire, you know, that painter we used once was very reasonable.
Yeah,
Like, what, $700 for a whole apartment or something like that?
I don't remember.
You know, something like that. I mean,
There's
that was-
also,
a
overtime
lot of them
here.
are a mess.
There's also $7,500 in overtime that I've budgeted. You could actually use that. If you needed to, I mean, are they doing a lot of overtime?
No, the overtime is mostly snow plowing.
Okay, well, depending,
What
So
happened
you
to
hold
that
that in
snow?
reserve for snow plowing, you know, that makes sense.
Because they
now all
don't take,
depending upon how the winter goes.
Right.
If we don't use that money for snow plowing, we do have that $7,500 cushion that can be used towards, getting the apartments up to snuff.
What did we use that snow money for last year? Cause we didn't have any snow to speak
We had
of.
less budgeted, we had 5,000 budgeted, and,
We didn't
part of
have
it was
the-
overtime, whatever overtime there was, and the other we kept. I mean, it actually got applied to other things that we needed money for. For instance,
I
the
thought
health
it was-
insurance, the retirement.
Yeah.
I thought we were told that you couldn't take things from line
You can,
items.
you can.
some things. You can't take things out of the utility line and put it in.
Oh, well,
a-
that's different.
You
I'm
can
talking
make,
about-
you can move, things between line items. My theory on any of this is, as long as you don't go over the bottom line, you're fine. And you comply with all the rules and regulations, and you don't go over but DHCD says you can spend $200,000 in expenses. If you don't go over that, you're fine.
Okay. Answer my question.
That's my theory.
Okay,
I was gonna ask something, I
Go
forgot.
ahead.
Alzheimer's. It's,
Now, I have, just to interject, I have in my number 5 in this budget narrative, put the idea in DHCD's head that we need extra money. They will sometimes give you extra money to get your reserve back into a positive balance. And I've said that we need about $40,000 in order to do that. So, by the way, make sure you send this narrative in with the budget certifications when they see this. if there's a possibility that they may give you an enhancement of $40,000 to boost your reserve back up to a 5% level, which will give you a little extra cash in order to work with.
Providing it stays there. Oh, God, it's awful.
It is, it's not a pretty sight in any housing authorities, especially some of the smaller ones, where they've been devastated by increased costs, increased retirement. And many small cities and towns that have had a lot of layoffs will affect your retirement bill directly, because there's less employees in the town and you've kept your same employees, so your percentage gets higher. That's why your retirement goes,
that was
that's
the
why your
question. How
retirement
come-
goes up so much.
So, because if, I'm just saying, Raleigh lays off people, then we have to cover,
Yes, 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 exactly.
in the same, like workman's comp. It
I
doesn't-
guarantee you, workman's comp gonna go up after Sandy.
Workman's comp is based on a rate.
I guarantee you.
State, it's a state mandated rate the workers' comp doesn't get affected.
No, yeah, the workman's comp won't go up.
But
I'm just,
the retirement bill does, and, you know, just to give you an example, your retirement bill is $30,000 and you have 4 people that are covered under it, under retirement,
Right.
4 people?
Mhm.
Okay, I was at a housing authority this morning in a city, near the Boston area, that has 20 employees, and their retirement bill is $180,000, okay? Now, you have a $30,000 retirement bill with 4 people, and they have 20, so yours, if I multiply yours times 5, actually, that's not bad when I think about it.
Well, they're probably larger housing authorities too.
Yeah, but I also have some housing authorities that have $1 million bills.
They're huge.
They're huge, they're absolutely huge, and they're devastating.
Because
They're
some places
devastatingly
have over
huge.
1,000.
Yeah.
It
So, and it goes up, I mean, yours went up in 1 year from 18 to almost $30,000. That's unbelievable.
I believe it. I believe it.
So, and also the health insurance went up dramatically from 2011 to 2012. That will be reduced somewhat because we don't have one person on it now, so, anyway, it's not a pretty sight, it really isn't, and you're not the only housing authority in this situation.
and we have to stay with the same plan as the state has, right? We can't.
That's right, it has to be through the group insurance commission, state group insurance commission. Whatever plans are within that, the employee has a choice. Yeah.
Everything you don't
And anybody
want.
that works 20 hours or more, it's mandatory to be in the retirement system. So you could technically have an employee that you're paying part-time $15,000 and they work 20 hours a week and you're paying more in benefits than you are in
Really?
salary.
I think that's probably what's happening in Edmond.
Mhm.
She gets $15 an hour, yeah.
Mhm.
See, that's what I don't understand, that there's another department in Georgetown that we have a person, but this is just during the summer, he works more than 20 hours. And we aren't involved in retirement.
State retirement system?
I mean, he's employed by the town. That's what that's why, when I see these, I said, how come they're getting paid so much?
Is it a part-time employee or full-time?
Part-time,
Is
That's
it
why.
seasonal?
huh?
Seasonal?
That's why.
Yeah,
That's why it's season.
That's it.
It doesn't matter,
That's to be full-time. That's to be permanent. Permanent.
yeah, no, he only works during the summer.
Then that's why. They have an option to go into what's called, I can't think of the name of it. It's not Cobra, because that's insurance. There's another plan for part-time people that takes place of the state retirement system that's mandatory for them to be in. That's how that works.
So you think that it would be easier for us, or better for us to hire outside to get some of the apartments caught up?
I would-
Cheaper?
I would say that, no, it won't necessarily be cheaper. Oh, than hiring an employee?
No, like you said, an outside.
Yeah, I think because you may lose subsidy for not having enough apartments occupied, I think that it would be to your benefit maybe in the long run to get as many of them, maybe half of them going. You don't have the money to hire a outside contractor to get 7 apartments going.
No.
But maybe they could help
To assist.
assist your maintenance guys, and then just watch, watch when DHCD approves the budget, whether they actually are going to enhance our reserve or not, give us the extra $40,000.
Then I would feel more comfortable.
Then you'd have a little bit more cushion to go forward, but still gotta be very, very, very watchful of what you spend.
Can I ask, that 40,000 though would go in the reserve?
It would
Bring the
replenish
reserve?
what's not there now.
Oh, well, I know, we're 25,000 plus in the hole.
Yeah, it would replenish what's not there now.
But if they put that in there for like the 5%, we shouldn't, they won't expect us to use that.
No, they don't want you to use it, no.
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
But it gives you a little more cash flow,
Yeah.
okay? Hopefully, hopefully things will work out. I mean, it's a horrible situation to be in, but
I
we
know,
do the best we can.
I don't understand, we
What-
have so
what-
many
Yeah,
empty
look at your
apartments.
apartments, your place is getting older, it's costing more
More
to
to
maintain
maintain
it,
it,
and it's
absolutely.
normal.
Yeah.
It's normal, and the state just hasn't provided enough operating subsidy to maintain these units.
What will be the time frame of the state coming to us and saying that we're in non-compliance with having so many empty rooms? Is there a guideline to that?
It's effective January 1st.
January 1st.
Yeah, so I guess you're gonna have to
We'll be
enter
fine.
data in the, you're gonna have to add the
So-
data in the computer, they're gonna monitor it on a monthly basis,
Okay.
and
We do
So I
that
mean,
now.
we have a couple of months to see where we're gonna stand, before we go out and say hire subcontractors to come in to
yeah,
bail us out a little
obviously,
bit. but-
using your
but we have
own
6 to
men,
8 weeks to.
obviously, using your own men is the way to go, because it's not gonna cost you any more.
Right,
So
right.
that's number one, try, if it doesn't work,
And
maybe
then at that
bring
point,
somebody in to help
then
them
at
out.
that point in time, when it gets to be critical, we can
Right.
discuss at that point in time about hiring on,
Well,
subs
that would be
out.
something that I would just do as a day-to-day
Sure.
operation.
Okay.
But we'll be 6 months into our budget by then too, so I would feel a whole lot more comfortable spending money on a contractor because 6 months has already gone past and we
Right,
didn't
and
spend.
haven't touched anything.
Right.
Right, I mean, that would be my.
I mean, you have to understand why this budget is
Wait.
so late, we're 4.5 months into our fiscal year. It's the state, it's the state's
Right,
fault.
no, I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that, correct, yeah. So that would be my, opinion on
The thing
that,
is,
yeah.
every month we seem to have at least 4.
Yeah, well,
The turnover in here is astronomical.
It must
Well,
be that way in
I don't
all
think
those
it's
places.
astronomical, I think it's average.
yeah,
Well, when
As far as your
DHCD was
elderly
in here, they said that
population,
it was
some people have been here
outstanding.
a long time.
Sure.
They're dying.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of it isn't that either, they just come in and move too,
okay.
I don't know.
Do we have a motion to accept this?
I motion that we do accept this, yes. I don't think we have a choice.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call vote. Shower,
Yeah.
Foster,
Yes,
We're
not
lucky.
happy.
Davis and
I'll
yes.
have you know, not
Is that
happy.
halfway between the one and the other?
Okay, I'll just need you all to sign the budget certification.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thing,
much,
Bertha,
Howard.
Yeah,
if they gave
thank
it
you
to
for
us
coming.
5
No
months ago,
problem.
I mean, I can understand how they could be, I can't say, well, my taxes aren't done, I'll pay in 4 months. You know, and that's what bugs me, and I kept asking Diane, where's the budget, where's the budget?
I know, and I didn't have budget guidelines. Okay, we all set? We're all set. Oh, we should
No,
adjourn.
you can't do that.
Make a motion to adjourn?
And it's just,
Adjourned at
We're adjourning. Aye.
I.